Here we are in a school and we are really excited to be a part of this orientation program conducted by BIS for Standards Club. I hope you are excited too. Let's go. Hello friends.
Hello sir.
Okay, so we all use hundreds of products in our day-to-day life, right? Such as pens, toothbrushes, electric iron, electric switches, computers, mobile, thermometers, mattresses, thermos, flasks and batteries, to name a few. We expect all these products to be of quality and standard, right?
Yes sir.
Okay, we have experts from the Bureau of Indian Standards who will explain the theory of quality and standards and present a glimpse into the wonderful world of standards formulation. So are you ready to know more about standards?
Yes sir.
Okay, let us learn what quality means and how it is related to standards from Shri H.J. Pasricha, Deputy Director General, BIS.
Quality in its simplest form can be defined as fitness for purpose. This has many attributes depending upon the product, the services and most importantly the user. The quality of a product should meet the expected performance level, regulatory requirements, needs of customers, freedom from defects and durability. It should also be value for your money and should provide customer satisfaction. But how these quality characteristics are decided and made available to the users? The answer to this is standards.
Thank you, Mr. Pasricha, for explaining all this to us. Okay, friends, now let us see a short clip and understand and find out how it is related to standards. Are you ready?
Yes sir.
Let's see. So now that you have seen this clip, you must have noticed these products. Okay, so now let us do an activity. Form a group for each product shown in the short film and try to list out 5 qualities of that product. The boy's journey from waking up to school was made possible due to the expected functioning of these products. But then, how these qualities are related to standards? Let's hear from Shri Chandan Behel, Senior Scientist, BIS, to understand what standards are, why we need them, and what their benefits are.
Friends, before I tell you what standards are, can you now attempt to describe the word standard itself?
Standard is defined as step of manufacturing a product.
The product must be of best quality and branded.
A standard is a set of rules prescribed by the government.
Documents defining quality.
Good attempt. As we are all science students, we believe in knowing the exact definition of various terms. Likewise, standards also have a formal definition, which is a standard is a document established by consensus and approved by a recognized body that provides for common and repeated use, rules, guidelines or characteristics for activities or their results aimed at achievement of the optimum degree of order in a given context. So this is how we define a standard formally. But why do we need standards? To explain this, we need standards to define and raise level of quality and ensure performance and safety. Standards also help in facilitating transfer of technology, assess and demonstrate conformity, and to help consumers to make better choices. To understand this relationship between quality and standard, let us see how the standard on paper documents the quality parameters: size, opacity, tensile strength, moisture. The standard lays down specific requirements for each of these parameters. Now you all must be wondering, how will you know whether there is a standard on any given product or not? Actually, it is very simple. You can go to BIS website and find out for yourself. Come with me, let us go to BIS website and see. So friends, this is the BIS website, bis.gov.in, and this is the home page of our website. If you can see here, we have a feature, Know Your Standard. So you click here, it takes us to this page, and you can search for any standard. You can see it is written here by keyword. So I press here by keyword, and let us take a very simple product which you people use every day, that is chalk. So let me write chalk here, and there are 3 standards on chalk. It says school chalks. So when I say school chalks, it gives me all the details about this standard. This is the number of that standard, IS 2694. It was made in 2018, and when I go below, it gives me, I can download the standard from here, and I can see most other informations that we need to know about standards, right? So see, it is very simple to know standards for any given product. And now you can keep thinking of products. You are using thermometers, you are using benzene, and so many other products in your school. Go to the BIS website, keep navigating, keep learning. And also, do not forget to access the catalog of consumer-focused standards on BIS website www.bis.gov.in.
What a fascinating world of standards it is. I'm sure you must have enjoyed this.
Yes, sir.
Great. But the question is whether the standards are limited only to the products. Let's find out from Sri Rajiv Sharma.
Various standards which Mr. Bahal explained are the product standards. However, there are other kinds of standards also. The second on the list is standards on terminology, symbols and vocabulary. These standards define the technical and other terms used in different standards to ensure a common and uniform understanding of the term in the given context. The third on this list is the standards on methods of tests. Yes, you heard it right. There are standards on methods of tests as well. These standards describe the test methods to be followed for various characteristics of similar products. These are also supplemented with details of sampling, equipment, sequence of tests, etc. You will learn about them in the latter half of this film. The fourth category is codes of practice. These standards recommend practices or procedures for the design, manufacture, installation, maintenance or utilization of equipment and product.
This was amazing. So now we know what are standards and the different categories. Now let's dive deep into some examples and see how the quality and standards of those things ensured. We will start with Sri N.K. Kansara, who will tell us about water.
Before I talk about the quality parameters for packaged drinking water, may I ask you to mention the quality requirements that you would like to see in packaged drinking water?
Clean.
No foul smell.
Clear view.
Taste good.
No external material.
Pure.
Bacteria free.
Free from harmful microorganisms.
Free from iron, fluoride, arsenic.
Excellent. Now let us look at the common quality parameters of packaged drinking water. Keeping in view the real and perceived needs, the quality characteristics of water are grouped under organoleptic, physical, chemical, microbiological and radiological properties. We would learn about these properties and how are they measured for deciding whether they meet the standards. Color of water, is checked in terms of true color units. The simplest way of checking the color is by comparison against solutions of known color values developed using special chemicals. Odor and taste. Water is expected to be odorless and tasteless. However, both these characteristics are subjective in nature, as different consumers can have different perceptions on drinking the same water. Therefore, there is a need for standardized methods of tests even for these simple characteristics, which are in the form of panel of tasters, to arrive at general acceptable levels of quality. Let us talk about a very simple terminology, the pH. We have learnt in our chemistry class that pH is the measure of hydrogen ion concentration, defining acidity or alkalinity of a solution, and that the pH scale is between 0 and 14. For water, the pH is considered to be 7. However, the packaged drinking water contains many dissolved solids, due to which its pH is likely to vary. The permissible limit for pH of packaged drinking water is from 6 to 8.5. Total dissolved solids. It is general conception that water contains certain dissolved solids which are basically chemical compounds or salts. These are expected to be within specified limit, and the overall limit is 500 ppm. The testing of total dissolved solid is based on the principle of evaporating water at increased temperature and weighing the residues in solid form. Chemical requirements of water. Various chemicals which were expected to be absent or present in a permissible limits are barium, copper, iron, manganese, zinc, silver, aluminum, selenium, calcium, magnesium, sodium, antimony, nitrate, nitrite, fluoride, chloride, sulfate, alkalinity, residual free chloride, mineral oil, anionic surface active agents, phenolic compounds, bromates, etc. Let us talk about microbiological requirements. For checking the microbiological quality of water, the presence of variety of microorganisms are checked. These are E. coli, coliform, streptococci and staphylococcus, sulfide reducing anaerobes, Pseudomonas, aerobic microbial count, yeast and mold, Salmonella and Shigella, Vibrio cholera, etc. Hygienic conditions. The quality of drinking water in bottles is directly linked to the hygienic conditions maintained by the manufacturer in its factory during processing and storage, and also during transportation. Packaging. The type and manner of packing drinking water is also an important factor in ensuring and maintaining its quality. So, next time when you sip packaged drinking water, just remember the various quality checks it has gone through.
Wow, this was quite eye-opening, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
I never knew that so much goes behind before we drink water. Now it is time to take a look at another example. For instance, electric switches and sockets. Yes, there are standards on this also. Ms. Neha from BIS will tell us about it.
As you have already learnt in your physics class that electricity is the flow of electrons in a conductor. Now, this flow in and out of any equipment or appliance is regulated at the flick of a switch or a push of a button. But due to its very nature, the electricity flows have to be handled with care. Now, let us learn about some of the important quality characteristics that should have. So, the first one is protection against electric shock. The thicker and longer pin, which is called earth pin of the plug, it comes in contact with the power supply before the other two pins. These two pins are live and neutral, and that's how the current already present in the electrical is passed on to the ground or to the earth. The switches are designed in such a way when they are mounted or wired in normal use, live parts are not accessible even after removal of the part that can be removed without the use of a tool. While manufacturing these products, the material used are thermosetting like bakelite material. These materials are very poor conductors of heat and electricity, and so these materials are ideal for making these products. Second characteristic is normal operation. It is expected that during normal use over a period of time, products undergo mechanical, electrical and thermal stresses. However, a good quality product is expected to withstand such stresses. Normal use over a prolonged period is simulated through operating the product for 20,000 times on and off position, that is for 40,000 operations. The third important characteristic is resistance to abnormal heat and to fire. Many times excessive amount of current is drawn by a product for longer period. The insulation material in such cases should not melt or initiate fire. Instead, it should allow the protection system to work, that is tripping of MCB or blowing of fuse. The fourth one is design feature and workmanship. The pins of the product be such that it should allow proper fit and do not leave any loose contact. The loose connection can lead to sparking due to ionization of air in the space between them and eventually leading to fire. The plugs and sockets are designed in such a way that they are compatible with each other even they are from different brands in order to have proper fitting and to prevent loose connection and therefore sparking. In this line, the fifth important characteristic is mechanical strength. Plugs, sockets and switches, they shall have adequate mechanical strength so as to withstand the stresses imposed during installation and use. Compliance is checked by applying blows by means of the pendulum hammer apparatus. Another important product which is essential for making electrical connection is cables or conductors, which comes in different ratings and sizes for different purposes. So, what comes to your mind when we talk about cables, conductors and their properties like conductance, resistance, etc. So, you all may be familiar with Wheatstone bridge and Kelvin bridge. These bridges are used for measuring resistance of a cables and conductors. These were some of the important parameters that I covered for switches, sockets and plugs and wires. The complete list of parameters which are to be tested for these products, they are given in detail in their respective Indian standards.
Now, this makes us understand how important standards are and how they impact the life around us. Now that we have learnt to identify the quality characteristics expected from a product and how these are reflected in a standard, so can we write a standard?
Yes, sir.
And how many of you can write a standard for any product? Great. Your enthusiasm is quite understandable. But before we attempt that, let us also learn from Ms. Reena Garg whether there is a standard for writing a standard.
General element of the standards are title, table of contents, foreword, scope, references, definition and terminology, grades, types, classes, manufacturing, requirements, sampling, test methods, marking, packing and packaging, and access. Let us understand each of these elements with reference to the products which we have already discussed. Firstly, the title. The title should contain the subject for which the standard is about. Foreword. So, as the heading itself suggests, it contains some background information about the product, its significance and the technical committee which has formulated this standard. Next is scope. So, this part of the standard mentions the product and its field of coverage by the standard in a very unambiguous manner. So, it also mentions as to what the standard does not cover. Next comes the references. So, this clause is meant for giving information related to other standards which are to be necessarily referred for use of this particular standard. So, next element is about manufacturing. For certain products as considered appropriate, keeping in view the health and safety aspect and other specific needs, the standard also contains details of raw materials which can be used and the process of manufacturing which can be adopted by the manufacturers. And now packing and packaging. So, packing and packaging are decided depending upon the type of product, its characteristics, quantities involved and also the mode of transport in general. Now, the marking clause. Another basic and important feature associated with any product is to give details about the product itself, that is its name, source of manufacturing, ingredients, grade, rating, type, dimensions, class, date of manufacturing, shelf life or expiry date, weight, volume, and also any statutory and regulatory requirements. Last element, the annexures. It can be provided in the standard, and these may be normative or informative to the standard depending upon the nature of the references made to them in the standard.
I'm sure you would have learned each step that makes a standard and noted it. Are you ready to write a standard?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's begin the exercise. That was quite an exercise. I must appreciate the enthusiasm you all showed while doing the exercise. Now, let's invite Mrs. Madhurima and Mrs. Natasha, scientists, who will tell us how well you have performed.
What a wonderful response that we have received. Let us see what our future standards writers have written. I can see that they have attempted to write the name of the product, and they have also written scope covering data transfer and power. What are your observations on this?
Indeed, Natasha, they have done a wonderful job. I'm highly impressed. Our smart and intelligent children, they have gone into so much details. They have done a lot of research. In fact, I can see that in the foreword of the standards, they have referred some other Indian standards. You know, one of the students has also stressed the need of suitability of the product across the country, where you experience different temperature conditions. In the foreword of one of the standards, one group has talked about the group which prepared this standard. So they know this detail that we need to mention about the technical committee or the division council which prepared this standard. One group has talked about the ergonomically designed position of ports for the simultaneous access. They have also talked about the indicator for connectivity, the safety requirements like protection against leakage current. They have gone into a lot of details indeed.
So before we wind up, we express our sincere thanks to our mentor and head of institution. Our sincere thanks also go to the department's higher authorities for their support. So, let's spread the message that quality is not costly but priceless. And let's empower ourselves to empower others as consumers who demand quality. I love to quote, as consumers, we have so much power to change the world by just being careful in what we do. And my heart swells with joy to have spent some time in the company of brand ambassadors of standards and quality. Thank you.